Hello and welcome to the joestar podcast, episode 23. Today we're going to start off with Joseph's advent calendar. I brought us an advent calendar which we are going to work our way through on each day the podcast is up. So today I'll do the first, next week I'll do second till 8th, and then so on and so on. So up here is number one. Up here is number one. So we're gonna open it. And it's a lint. Ooh. We got a lint boo. Very cool. It's got lots of little snowflakes on it, as you can see. The word lint is written in blue. So I am excited for number 24, if you can see. It's a little teddy bear, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. So today, alongside this, we're going to be talking about Rick and Morty episode 8, the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, and we had a new Mario trailer drop a couple of days ago, and I'm also going to be ranking films of November. But anyway, let's start off with Rick and Morty episode 8. Okay. Love how they started by going straight into a fight. So it was Rick and Morty versus Mr. Nimbus. If you don't know Mr. Nimbus, he was the fish man they invited in for dinner whilst they were doing the wine thing as well. Cookie Magneto was funny, yeah. Rick going to therapy was funny. It was pretty cool. I loved how he even though he didn't really like going to therapy, he decided to take it upon himself to go to it, and yeah, pretty cool, I think. Piss Master was crap, and then it was just annoying. He was until Rick was him. And then Jerry versus Piss Master was stupid. Jerry getting an orb was really cool, and they fit it into a suit that kind of reminded me a bit of Iron Man. Like he had his arc reactor, but the orb was the arc reactor instead. A group of Hitlers was odd but weirdly off. It was just a little creepy. They had just a world of Hitlers that Jerry defeated. The newscast about Jerry was very cool. By the way, this was more of a Jerry-centric adventure than anything else. The newscast, yeah, Rick reacting to change is good, and he in that scene he was back in therapy, which I found a little interesting. Jerry choosing his family was sweet to join him on the journey, which was actually quite nice because these are the people who he's been with most of his life. Dr. Buckles versus String Beans was funny, and yeah, it was a little hilarious. Rick visiting Mr. Piss. Sorry, I mean Piss Master was nice. Mr. Piss's suicide note was sad. Rick pretending to be Mr. Pierce was really cool, and he did some really nice things to make up for the bad things that had happened to him between him and Jerry. Rick Orb ship working together was cool. And they all voted for Mr. Pierce to take Jerry's place. Rick pretend Orphan Island is cool, but it was a little sad seeing as they were all people who don't have parents. Rick versus Jerry was cool. Rick being nice is sweet. And the family reacting to the suicide note was crazy. And then in the end, there was a post-credit scene that showed the Orb group deciding to join forces with Mr. Nimbus. But I did pause it a bit too early, but from what I could tell, they thought he was busy, but they weren't. Okay, moving on to the Guardians Holiday Special. I liked that the intro had Christmas comic scenes, so it had a bit of this, a bit of that, different family Marvel characters flicking around doing their own Christmas stuff. Like one I saw was the Thing carrying a turkey. And it had a Christmas song in the background, which was nice. I like how the Marvel logo was covered in Christmas lights. It was like around the outside. Sorry, I should have said this earlier, but spoiler alert in case you haven't seen it. I like how it started as a cartoon with and how Yondu was mad about Christmas, which was pretty cool. And Kraglin told that story, but he didn't tell it the right way, which we'll get into in a bit. Cosmo, this is a new character. Cosmo is the dog who has had a couple of cameos in previous Guardians films. And she uses telekinesis, and that was cool. And I believe her voice was quite amazing. And I did hear this, but apparently her collar is what makes her speak. So she sounded a bit like Doug from Up. The song about Christmas was cool, and it is now one of my favorite songs. And it's very weird. It's weird and fun at the same time. Groot dancing in the background was silly, and it was like a bit of a hint to Guardians Volume 2 when he was dancing around in the background whilst people were fighting. Mantis being Quill's sister was a shocker. I did not believe that. It was. I know Ego was a douche, but I didn't think he was that much of a douche. Kevin Bacon's intro was cool. Humans reacting to the ship was nice touch, and the funny scene where Drax said, "Oh yes, I have turned it on," was funny. Drax and Mantis reacting to cosplay characters was funny. And Drax and Mantis being in photos was pretty cool. I think that's got to be one of the best scenes. And it really makes us believe that we will like, it makes us think that what our life is like as normal humans, seeing these creatures or could they be because we've seen videos and stuff and we don't know what it could be. So yeah. Drax and Drax and Mantis going into a club was cool, and then them sitting on the street together was quite cute. It's the picture on this podcast's thumbnail. It's pretty sweet. And they don't have lights around them, but it is quite sweet. Also, Mark Hamill made a cameo. Oh gosh. They then went to Kevin Bacon's house and then broke into his house, which was comical. But this was more of a gate, and then they took the items, which was silly. One was a candy cane, one was a little elf man. The chase scene was funny. Drax being immune to bullets is cool. Like, you have aliens, and they might be partial to certain things, but you know. Kevin Bacon being interested in this was nice, but it was only because Mantis had used her powers on him. There was a DC reference in a Marvel series, which was him talking about Batman. All the Guardians joining together to make Peter's best Christmas was sweet. And then Kevin Bacon came out, and Peter being cross was funny. This series was just as good as it could get. It's my favorite holiday one of this year. Kevin being scared of everyone was funny, and Groot saying it was a bad idea was silly. It's the way he said it. It was like, "I'm Groot," and he's like, "Yeah." I really wish I could react to it with you guys, but unfortunately, I don't have the technology to be able to put myself in the corner whilst also have it on the screen because I'm not that diverse in technology. Okay. Kraglin telling Kevin about Peter's past adventures was cool, and how he did a dance off to save the world because of him, which was pretty sweet. Yeah. Okay. Kevin singing was nice. Groot getting a Game Boy was cool, which was an upgrade to his space fighter thing. And he looked so happy when he got it. It was just amazing. Rocket getting Bucky's arm was funny, and a nod back to Infinity War when he said, "Oh, I'll get that arm." Drax getting his elf man back was silly, and he was so happy about it. The models given to each Guardian was odd but silly because they all featured something that either happened in that, I don't know what to call it. Is it an episode or a film? I don't know. Special. We'll call it a special. Things that happen in that special, but also not. The animated story ending with Yondu opening his gift was cool, and how Peter got his guns, and Peter being happy that Mantis was his sister was sweet. Yeah, I love that scene. And a post-credit scene showed Groot as a Christmas tree, and also and this has been said twice. We don't know what's going to happen or whether they are going to make another Guardians special, but one time Kevin said, "See you at Easter," And then at the end of this, Rocket said, "Oh, we're gonna have to do another special." Anyway, let's move on. Mario movie trailer 2 wasn't. It was a. It was a trailer, all right. Everyone cheering for Mario was cool, and him entering a coliseum was pretty nice. And we got our first look at Donkey Kong, and he looks amazing, and he literally beat the beep out of him. Luigi is cool. He sounds all right. At the start, I was like, oh, he actually sounds Italian. But then as it went on, I was like, so. And then Peach looks and sounds great. And we will see her in a fighting stance, which is amazing. Mario failing is funny. They had like a mini thing, which one thing I heard people were saying it's a nod to Mario Maker, and so it's a course, and Mario was just failing at everything. Yeah. And Princess Peach getting powers is awesome, along with the Tanuki suit Mario, which both look great, by the way. There was a stampede of Yoshi, and they made a reference to Mario Kart, which I'm okay for. I'd like to say I am going to watch the film to see what it's like, but what I feel is they're going to try and cram too much into it, and it's not going to make as much sense as possible. But that's just my opinion. You guys can have a different opinion, do whatever you want. I just feel like they're going to, from what I've seen, they've crammed way too much into it. And finally, I'm going to be ranking films of November that I saw. First off, we have One Piece, Film Red, which I'm giving a 9 out of 10. Go back to my 20th podcast, and you'll understand about that. Wakanda Forever, 6 out of 10. Not as good. I made another podcast about what I was saying, so I believe it's 21 in that one. And finally, Guardians Holiday Special, which I just talked about right now, I found very interesting, so I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It wasn't as good as Film Red, but it wasn't as bad as Black Panther. So, yeah. Thank you for listening. Next time, we are going to talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, final part. It came out today. I haven't seen anything. I have seen the opening, but I want to talk about that next time. But I also want to watch the whole thing. I know how it ends, so I want to see how they've done it in animation. Okay. And then we might talk about the Steel Ball Run anime, even though it won't come out for another 3 to 4 years or so. I don't know. I'm not an animator there. Plus, they've got to figure out horses and stuff, but we'll get into that next week. Rick and Morty episode 9, and hopefully sometime I'm going to see Violent Night. And we're going to continue doing the Advent calendar. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. See you later. Bye.